Do you have a problem with the way that Lamar's handling of the contract situation?
I don't have a problem with the handling because I want to, enlighten everybody about what's going on. Everyone talks about how Lamar doesn't have an agent and how it's hurting him. Well, we've seen guys like Laramie Tunsil go out and negotiate 2 contracts to become the highest paid left tackle without an agent. We've seen Richard Sherman do it. Bobby Wagner has done it. DeAndre Hopkins has done it. So not having an agent isn't what's keeping Lamar Jackson from getting this fully guaranteed contract. What's preventing him from getting this fully guaranteed deal is the fact that he is raging against the machine. What's the machine? It's agents, it's NFL insiders. All of these guys, they don't want their bottom line to be affected. You talk about the agents. They want a piece of this contract because that's how they make a living. The NFL insiders, they want a piece of the information because that's how they make a living. So by Lamar not having an agent and cutting them out, not having the direct ties to every NFL insider out there, cutting them out, he's raging against that machine, and he's not winning that battle right now. Lamar is worthy and deserving of a fully guaranteed deal because Deshaun Watson got that deal. And it's not that he's an outlier. It's the fact that Lamar Jackson has accomplished more on the field, and he has a much cleaner track record off the field. So when you look at it in that perspective, has not having an agent hurt Lamar Jackson? In ways, yes, it has, but not the ways that everybody thinks. If he had an agent or not, he would still push for a fully guaranteed deal because the NFL made a decision to give Deshaun Watson that deal, and Lamar Jackson is the one who's worthy of it.
Well, here's my issue with your position, RG, and thanks again for being on the show. You're saying that you don't have much of an issue with how he's handled the situation, but you're acknowledging that he's kind of losing the battle. Well, to me, you got to pick one, bro. You either's winning the battle or you should have a problem with him not winning the battle because I know you want the brother to get paid. You don't want him to be underpaid. I know RG3 wants that brother to get paid, okay? Yes. Lamar Jackson, wherever you are, you got a big-time fan in RG3. That brother wants you to get paid, okay?
100%.
So the fact of the matter is he isn't getting paid what he deserves to be paid. So you should have a problem with it. I have a problem with it because I know he deserves more than what he has. See, listen, I've been on the record stating this. This is where everyone loses me in terms of the Ravens. You offered that brother $133 million guaranteed when you know Kyler Murray, not Deshaun Watson. Forget him. That's an outlier. You know good and damn well Kyler Murray signed for $189.5 million guaranteed. That is nearly $60 million less in guaranteed dollars for Lamar Jackson than for Kyler Murray. You know better than that if you're the Baltimore Ravens. Just stop it. Now, stop bringing up the whole damn Deshaun Watson thing. We all understand that that's an outlier. And if you had $200 million guaranteed on the table, you'd see a lot of people clamoring for Lamar Jackson to take the money. Be like, what's the matter with you, bro? And the reason why somebody like me would do it, RG, is because I was of the mindset he should have never stepped out on the field last season. He should have sat out the whole year. Now, you don't want to quit on your team in the middle of the season. You don't want to do that. But at the beginning of the season, for business purposes, as violent as the sport of football is, as one injury, as you well know, could cost you so much, hell no. You don't get out on that field. So when he ended up missing the last 5 games of this season, after missing the last 5 games of the previous season, I'm like, damn, you're lucky it wasn't worse. You're lucky you didn't suffer some career-ending injury. Don't take that damn chance anymore. Stay your behind off the field. Don't go back on the field until you get a long-term deal. I don't care that they tagged you with a non-exclusive tag that's going to give you $32 million this upcoming season. It ain't $200 million. And if you know that you can get $200 million, you sit down until you get that $200 million, if not from the Ravens, from somebody, period. But the flip side is, look, non-exclusive tag, you know that's built-in collusion. And then you got the specter of those agents like you just brought up. You got the agent community, okay, that don't want him. Because we could bring up the other players that got contracts, all right, without an agent. They weren't quarterbacks. Exactly. Quarterback's a different element. That's a different level in the National Football League. You cannot have, if you're an agent, it is your nightmare that a star quarterback goes out there and on his own gets a deal for over $200 million in guaranteed dollars without an agent representing them. And that's not to say he has no representation. I'm just talking about the conventional agents out there, accustomed, knowing, certified by the NFLPA, know they've been around a long time, got the connections and the relationships. I think there's something to be said about what they could do compared to someone who doesn't have those connections, who doesn't have those relationships, who can't use their clientele and their experience and their cachet in the business to make sure an organization pays for screwing over one of their clients, particularly the likes of Lamar Jackson. I understand that. But in the end, if Lamar gets the right deal, without them, that's precedent setting. And they don't want that to happen. Lamar's got to know that, and I hope he does.
Yeah, Stephen, I think he knows that now. You're talking about leverage. We see this all the time. Big agencies can leverage their entire span of players that they have to get other players great deals. So that's exactly, you're proving my point about what I was talking about, how the agents don't want this to happen and the insiders don't want this to happen, because insiders have sources inside of every single building in the NFL. Right? They also have extremely close ties to these agents. So that's how they make a living. And Lamar could possibly be affecting that if players see that he can get a deal on his own. But let me pull back the curtain even further. If you're Lamar Jackson, right, and you hear about Deshaun Watson getting a fully guaranteed deal with everything this brother had going on off the field, how can you now look at him and say, you're not worthy of that deal? That, I think, is the problem right now. We can all say it's an outlier, and it's been said that way for many, many months now. But for Lamar Jackson, in his mind, he's saying, I'm better than that dude. And that guy got paid last year, so the price should only go up. Why am I not getting that opportunity? And I think everything that we've laid out here today is why he's not getting that opportunity. And, of course, there's the guaranteed money that he wants and the 2 first-round picks that any team that comes to get him has to give up.
RG3, what did these moves mean for where I'm going? That Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. Rodgers watch continues.
Yeah, I mean, I think these moves show you that they're fully committed to getting Aaron Rodgers. They're trying to get more draft capital because the number one issue the Jets have isn't offensive weapons. They've got a ton of them. And even if OBJ is on the radar of possibly going there as well, but they don't have protection. Right now, last year they had 9 different starting units on the offensive line position. 11 different linemen played, and they didn't have the same 5 guys blocking for the quarterback for more than 3 games. So they need as much draft capital as they can to go solidify the line in front of Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's what these moves are about. We all get hyped up about the sexy players, the running backs, the wide receivers, but those offensive linemen are underappreciated, and I think the Jets know they have a lot of work to do up front.
Well, definitely, but I think that where it really, really stands out, RG, is that I think that's outside of the quarterback, really that's all you have to shore up. You expect the Breece Hall back. You know he can run with the football. Garrett Wilson can catch the football. Obviously, you bring McCole Hardman in. He's no scrub. I think he's an upgrade from Elijah Moore. Not to knock Elijah Moore in any way, but I think he's somewhat of an upgrade, particularly from that slot receiver's position. I think you look at it from that perspective of what they have in place in acquiring Allen Lazard as well, who's a familiar target of Aaron Rodgers. But even if Aaron Rodgers, by some happenstance, this doesn't end up happening, Lazard is no scrub. So I definitely think that you look at the Jets and what they bring to the table defensively, they've upgraded themselves offensively. They need 2 things shored up now. You got to secure your offensive line, protect your quarterback, and then you got to actually get a quarterback behind center. That's really what you got to do. But I don't have any problems with the moves that they're making. It all makes sense, and I think that GM Douglas is doing a pretty damn good job.
RG3, let me ask you this. This team is just littered with talent, right? So say Aaron Rodgers does join the squad and he plays for the Jets. Where would this rank amongst teams he's played with, just in terms of him having talent around him when he was with the Packers?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that this would be the best team that Aaron Rodgers has ever been on. I think that team would actually be the 2011 team that went 15-1. Offensive firepower through the wazoo. You're talking about Jordy Nelson, Greg Jennings, James Jones, Donald Driver. They had Randall Cobb as a rookie that year. They went 15-1. But the thing is, they actually lost in the first round of the playoffs that year. They won the Super Bowl in 2010 when they had similar weapons, but not obviously Randall Cobb, but they had a top 5 defense. And that's the thing. There's been few quarterbacks that have ever won a Super Bowl without a top 5 defense. So Aaron Rodgers, if he does get to go to the Jets, he will have a top 5 defense over there with Sauce Gardner and C.J. Mosley and Queenan Williams and D.J. Reed, all these guys leading the way. And I think that's the key that we're not really focusing on here. It's not that Aaron Rodgers is just going to go out there and outscore everybody. He's going to have a defense that is going to be bona fide top 5 in the league next year.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.